An agreement with a foreign government negotiated by the President and requiring a 2/3 vote in the Senate to ratify. D. Treaty. The annual speech from the President to Congress updating that branch on the state of national affairs. D. State of the Union Address. Formal rejection by the President of a bill that has passed both houses of Congress. B. Veto. An informal veto clause when the President chooses not to sign a bill within 10 days during a time when Congress has adjourned at the end of a session. C. Pocket veto. Presidential authority to release individuals convicted from a crime of legal consequences and forgive an individual and set aside punishment for a crime. A. Presidential pardon. Which president was impeached for violating the Tenure of Office Act? A. Andrew Johnson. Which president resigned from office instead of being impeached? B. Richard Nixon. Which president was impeached on ground of perjury and obstruction of justice? D. Bill Clinton. Which president was impeached for abuse of power and obstruction of justice? C. Donald Trump. Which of these presidents was impeached twice? C. Donald Trump. How many presidents died while in office? C. 8. The process of removing a president from office with articles of impeachment issues by a majority vote in the House of Representatives, followed by a trial in the Senate with a 2/3 vote necessary to convict and remove. D. Impeachment. A collection of offices within the White House organization designed mainly to provide information to the President. B. Executive Office of the President. Informal tool used by the President to persuade members of Congress to support his policy initiatives. C. Bargaining and persuasion. Presidential appeals to the public to pressure other branches of government to support his policies. C. Presidential persuasion. A tactic through which presidents reach out directly to the American people with the hope that the people will in turn put pressure upon their representatives and senators to press for a president's policy goals. B. Going public. A right claimed by presidents to keep certain conversations, records, and something from outside scrutiny, especially that of Congress. C. Executive privilege. An agreement between a president and another nation that does not have the same something as a treaty, but does not require Senate ratification. A. Executive agreement. Written comments issued by presidents while signing a bill into law that usually consist of political statements or reasons for signing the bill, but that may also include a president's interpretation of the law itself. B. Signing statement. Policy directives issued by presidents that do not require congressional approval. D. Executive order. A law passed over President Nixon's veto that restricts the power of the president to maintain troops in combat for more than 60 days without congressional authorization. A. The Wars Power Solutions. The branch of government in charge with putting the nation's laws into effect. A. Executive branch. Powers expressly granted in the Constitution. B. Formal or enumerated powers. Powers not laid out in the Constitution, but used to carry out presidential duties. C. Informal powers. Supreme Court cases. Marbury versus Madison. I. Mikulich versus Maryland. J. United States versus Lopez. A. Brown versus Board of Education. M. Baker versus Carr. D. Shaw versus Reno. G. Citizens United versus Federal Election Committee. O. Engel versus Vital. K. Tinker versus Des Moines. B. New York Times versus United States. F. Schenck versus United States. N. Wisconsin versus Yoder. C. McDonald versus Chicago. E. Gideon versus Rainwhite. L. Roe versus Wade. H. The 31st President of the United States, Herbert Hoover. The 32nd President of the United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt. The 33rd President of the United States, Harry Truman. The 34th President of the United States, Dwight Eisenhower. The 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy. The 36th President of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson. The 37th President of the United States, Richard Nixon. The 38th President of the United States, Gerald Ford. The 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter. The 40th President of the United States, Ronald Reagan. The 41st President of the United States, George H.W. Bush. The 42nd President of the United States, Bill Clinton. The 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush. The 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama. The 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. The 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.